Hi, everybody. Welcome to WCAX. This is our live desk streaming show, kicking off your day around 9:15. Today, we're talking about some big news this week coming out of Burlington. That being Burlington's Police Chief John Murad announcing that he is stepping down from his post starting next year. Of course, the person who knows most about that is our Catherine Huntley. So, Catherine, first of all, good morning and thanks for being here.
Yeah, good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
And jumping right into it, so Murad's announced that he is stepping down from his post. It's not going to be right away, though. And for anyone to kick off this whole conversation, for anyone who's not super familiar, for just kind of a brief history lesson of sorts, how long has his tenure been?
Well, it's been not that long and it's been
Yeah,
pretty tumultuous to
yeah,
say the least. I think you said that already, but he took over as acting chief in June of 2020. Now, this sort of happened after there was this big fallout when there was a social media scandal involving the last chief. Um, and so he took over in June of 2020. Now, this was just a few weeks after the murder of George Floyd.
yeah,
So he was taking over during a really kind of big racial tension time in American history. What a time to take over. Now, he was just the acting chief. And so shortly after that, just a few weeks after he took over in the middle of June 2020, the city council, led by a progressive contingent, but Democrats did vote for this, was to reduce the police force by 30% by attrition. Now, anyone that's familiar with our coverage will hear we talk about this all the time
yeah,
because the impacts of that have rippled for now more than 4 years.
yeah,
So what happened instead of it, kind of trickling down by attrition, officers left. So when Murad took over, so July 1st, 2020, he had 92 officers, sworn officers. 2 years later, on July 1st, there were 61 sworn. But that's not the people who are out patrolling. People are hurt, people are deployed, there's supervisory officers, there's officers at the airport. So the city, I think, really felt, and business owners and people really felt the impact of that. So since then, it's just been trying to focus on rebuilding.
no, absolutely. And you mentioned, of course, um, you know, kind of those scaling down over the past few years. But I heard you also had spoken with members of the Police Officers Association. What is their immediate reaction, especially in the aftermath that he's leaving?
Surprise.
Yeah,
They were surprised, but they are, really grateful for John Murad's service. They said something interesting that when he first took over, they weren't, huge fans of him. And he has worked over these 4.5 years to rebuild that trust just with him. And they were extremely complimentary about his service, about his strong leadership for the department. So I think they're concerned that, and this is a big shakeup because it's not just the chief that's leaving. There's two deputy chiefs. One deputy chief who's been there for a long time, just left in September, retired in September, and the other one is expected to retire in the springtime. And John Murad's last day is on or before April 7th.
yeah. So you think those will kind of fall in all pretty much around the same time there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was really my final point is, is there a plan? Is there an interim, or is that kind of gonna all fall into place exactly then?
Well,
You
we'll
know?
see.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
John Murad wants to stay on to do a smooth transition. Now
hmm,
they're going to have to do a chief search.
yeah,
A couple of years ago, they tried to do a chief search because John Murad was actually the acting chief for several years until 2023 because the progressives had six people on the council, had half the council, and you cannot confirm a nomination for a chief with only six, with only half the council. So the first time he was appointed, he was blocked actually. So he was acting chief for most of the time he was, head
yeah,
of the department. And they did a nationwide search then, and they only had two viable candidates. One of them dropped out, and the only other viable candidate was John Murad. So they've tried this before, and I know the Officers Association and other community members are concerned because do people want to serve the community of Burlington if there's been kind of all of this unrest with the police department
hmm,
and trust? and significant morale issues and a kind of an appearance of lack of support from city leadership. But the BPOA did say that the Officers Association said they are starting to feel that support, and they're going to stay positive and work towards hopefully attracting great candidates at the top of the organization and down through just regular patrol officers.
No, absolutely. And again, I think we're really just going to have to sit and wait and see what happens in the next about 5 or 6 months now.
It's not a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
We'll be on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to seeing your follow up. But Catherine Huntley, thanks so much. We'll play that story in just a sec. But thanks for hopping on this morning.
Yeah, thanks, John.
All right, have a good one. That was our Catherine Huntley there, just kind of shedding some light on some big news coming out of Burlington this week. Police Chief John Murad announcing he's stepping down starting in the new year there. But we'll pop her story up in as a second, and we can see kind of more of what she is talking about.
John Murad was appointed acting police chief in 2020 after the resignation of Chief Brandon Del Pozo amid a social media scandal. Murad took over during a time of racial unrest in the city in the immediate aftermath of George Floyd's murder. Anger over BPD officers' use of force sparked protests and an encampment near the police station. Shortly after, the city council voted to reduce the police department by 30% through attrition, which led to an immediate exodus from the department, bringing the number of sworn officers from 92 in July of 2020 to 61 officers by July 2022. While the city council later agreed to rebuild the force, little progress has been made. In a letter obtained by Channel 3 sent to BPD employees Tuesday, Murad wrote, "Rebuilding has been, is, and will continue to be my #1 priority, but I will not get there with you. And yet I urge all of you to keep believing that it can be done because the city needs you." Rank and file officers have rallied behind Murad and are sorry to see him go.
He is an incredibly capable leader, and he drove us through some very tumultuous times, so we're grateful for that.
But Murad has not had the support of progressives on the city council who blocked Mayor Moreau Weinberger's attempt to make him permanent chief. It wasn't until Weinberger's fellow Democrats gained majority control of the council in 2023 that the council confirmed Murad to the post. New mayor, progressive Emma Mulvaney-Stanek, reappointed Murad in July of this year. She told our Darren Perrin that Murad did not give her a reason why he's not seeking reappointment.
There's a lot being asked of police officers everywhere. So, sometimes I think people know it's the time to try something new and to provide some new energy, perhaps, to the department. Again, I just very much appreciate his dedication and service to the city.
Now the difficult work of finding a new chief begins. This comes on the heels of one deputy chief retiring, with the other deputy chief expected to retire in the spring, leaving the top 3 positions in the department open. A search for a new chief back in 2022 resulted in only one viable candidate, Murad.
It's become very well known the problems that we're facing in downtown. So I think it gets more and more difficult to get the right people to get in leadership here. I think we've had good people. Will it continue? I hope so, but I'm certainly concerned.
Again, you can see that full story on WCAX.com. But kind of shifting gears here, Peter, it's looking pretty spooky outside.
Yeah.
It's very gloomy, and there's a good amount of fog here in South Burlington.
Yeah, here in the Champlain Valley, kind of cloudy and murky out there almost. Actually, I wanted to show you the view from above this morning. Here was the view from atop Mount Mansfield earlier this morning. This actually a pretty cool time lapse. You can actually see all the clouds from above or from below Mount Mansfield. You can just see a few of those mountain peaks kind of peeking out from the clouds early this morning.
You got to send me that.
Isn't it a cool view to have?
Right. Yeah.
So, a few clouds out there this morning, especially here in the Champlain Valley. Clouds and a little bit of fog here in the Champlain Valley. The thought is that as we head through the rest of the day today, that should gradually burn off and we should get a good amount of sunshine going. But it really is just the Champlain Valley. Take a look at the view in the visibility in Burlington, 0.3 of a mile right now. Elsewhere, visibility really not a huge concern. Here is the view from outside of our studios in South Burlington. Definitely a very foggy start to the day out there. 36 6 degrees, just kind of gray, drippy, murky out there almost. I mean, here's how the rest of the day shapes up. The low clouds and fog should gradually burn off, giving way to sunshine here as we head towards later today. The clouds start to make their return, though, as we head towards later this evening, into the night tonight. We head into your day tomorrow. We start to see the rain showers start to make their arrival. First across the southwestern portions of the area, gradually advancing off to the north and east here as we head through the course of your day on Thursday. By about midday Thursday, you can still see the Northeast Kingdom, northern New Hampshire, still primarily dry, but notice the Adirondack Park right along the spine of the Green Mountains. They're already starting to see a bit of a transition over to those mountain snow showers out in that direction. That continues into Thursday evening, Thursday night. What I will say is it really looks like the bulk of the moisture with this system really falls primarily through the course of the day on Thursday. We are still seeing a few mountain snow showers, though, as we head into Friday morning, and the chance at a few passing rain showers here and there through the course of the day on Friday. In terms of how much rain we're talking about, the good news is this is really needed beneficial rain heading our way. Anywhere between half an inch, upwards of 1 3/4 inches by the time we're all said and done. This is through the course of the day, Thursday and Friday, but again, really does look like the bulk of the rain going to fall here Thursday and maybe into the first part of the day on Friday. But a lot of Friday, I think, we'll actually find a lot of dry time. In terms of snowfall accumulation, again, the bulk of the snow accumulation above 2,000 feet in elevation. So some of those high mountain passes roads, those roads could be a little bit slick here come Thursday night and into the morning hours on Friday. The big winners, the higher you go in elevation, places like Mount Marcy in New York, yeah, they could pick up nearly a foot of snow by the time Friday evening rolls around. Along the spine of the Green Mountains, generally think we're talking about 3 to 6 inches. Again, that rainfall situation definitely going to be welcome news in terms of snow. We're talking about the higher elevations picking up that snow. So here's how we're summing everything up. This is a long duration event, not only through the weekend, but even lasting into parts of next week. But again, as I mentioned, looks like the bulk of the moisture really in place here through the course of the day tomorrow. Beneficial rainfall, widespread 3/4 of an inch, upwards of 1.5 inches by the time we're all said and done. Mountain snow, several inches definitely possible above 2,000 feet in elevation. Temperatures, most of us in the 30s out there right now, a few lower 40s off to the south. And here's where we go through the rest of the day today. I think most of us will talk daytime highs, generally in the upper 40s and 50s here as we head towards this afternoon. Most of us should be picking up a little bit of sunshine here through the course of the day today. Tonight, clouds start to make their return for all of us once again. Overnight lows, they fall back into the 40s. And into your day tomorrow, those clouds start to give way to rain showers. Temperatures really not going to move all that much. Most of us may be climbing a few degrees, but we'll hang out in the low to mid 40s here for most of us as we head towards tomorrow afternoon. Now look at that 7-day forecast. Really, after today, looking a little bit unstable here over the next several days. You can see rain and mountain snow showers continue Friday as well as into the upcoming weekend. Again, it's not going to be raining and snowing all the time on those mountain summits. It's just something kind of on and off in nature, a little bit unsettled in nature here as we head through the next several days. So today, kind of the day to get out and enjoy when we get the sunshine going here in the Champlain Valley.
Well, I'm looking out the window now, and
yeah,
it's pretty grim.
It's foggy, gray, and gloomy out there right now.
We'll definitely enjoy it though. I mean, before the rain and everything else rolls in. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, 8 days away from Thanksgiving. Peter.
8 days away from Thanksgiving. Yep,
yeah.
It will be on the 7-day forecast in
day
and a half.
You got a fun graphic for that, or you just?
There will be a little turkey that pops up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to it. But I think it does for us here on WCAX. Of course, you can see Peter and I, Channel 3 News at noon.
Yep.
And all of our rating shows, WCAX.com, of course. And, you can catch us there. Until then, we'll see you in a couple hours, and see you.